Hey everybody, my name is Hyperfocus, and I'm going to be bringing you my new show called Fantasy Focused, which will be pretty simple format for today because it's been a pretty busy week for me, so I didn't get to crunch all the numbers, so to speak. But I am going to try and help you out as much as I can here with what I've got so far. And since the EULCS starts on Thursdays, I'm going to be going over just the EU for today, and I'm going to be going over the NA teams on Saturday. Next week, I'm going to be doing both EU and NA on the same day. I kind of realized this was a bad idea a little bit too late, but mistakes happen, and I'll have it corrected by next week. I'm going to be going over both teams, and the numbers and the analysis is going to be way deeper next week. Unfortunately, again, I was busy this week, so I was unable to go in more depth. But what I'm going to do for you guys this week is provide you with what I think are the three teams with the safest schedules, who you should start all their players. I don't have any specifics, just going to provide you with the three best teams in my opinion, and all their players are going to be included as part of that one team, basically. And I'm also going to provide you with the three worst teams to start in terms of if they're on this list, if the teams on this list, do not start any of their players, just in my opinion. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's your fantasy team. I'm just trying to provide you with the numbers that will back me up, hopefully, in making a educated guess, as I like to call this. And I'm going to give you a wildcard team, which is basically just going to be based on last week, who I think might be able to overcome their maybe tough schedule in some people's eyes. So let's get started in terms of the best teams. I'm going to start with the best teams first because that's probably what you want to hear. The first one's kind of simple. Fnatic, just easily the best team right now in EU, obviously. And probably going to catch a lot of flack for saying that. Anyway, I'm only going over EU today, so that's why I'll say that. So Fnatic's, obviously, like, if I had drafted all of Fnatic members' teams, I would not hesitate starting all of them this week. Not only because they're Fnatic and they're the best team, but they are going to be going against Gambit Gaming, who are 0-2, and they seem like they're in shambles right now. I don't really see them fixing their problems from last week. I know they have pretty good players on their team, but quite honestly, I don't really see them correcting the problem. So I do see Fnatic scoring a ton of points off them. And then their other matchup, which maybe is a little iffy, I don't really think so. It's against Rocket Gaming. Fnatic actually 2-0'd them last split. And Rocket is coming into this week 1-1. And Fnatic is on a roll, being 2-0, so I don't really... They might not score as many points as they will against Gambit, but I do think Fnatic and all their players are going to be amongst the highest scoring players for this week, among all EU players. The second best team, or safest team to start, in my opinion, is going to be Origin Gaming. Now, I mean, again, it's really easy to jump on hype trains here because I don't have a lot to work with. Origin Gaming was a challenger team last split, so I can't even look at the stats before. I know Expeke, Soaz, Amazing. You know, these are players that have been around. Just to name, the most polarizing ones of all of them, or the most notable. So let's just get to the point. Origin's going to be going against the O2 SK Gaming. Obviously, it's pretty simple to say that they have a really easy schedule when you're going against the team that has not won a game yet. I don't really see SK Gaming correcting their problems. I kind of assumed that Fox would be a lot better than he was last week, but he kind of did not perform as well as I thought. He actually was... He was the second worst scorer for mid laners, which is pretty awful. So I don't see them correcting this problem anytime soon. And then Origin's going to be going against the Copenhagen Wolves, who I do believe are a solid team. but I don't think that they're going to be able to necessarily compete with Origin. It's kind of up in the air, but the point is that Origin is going to destroy SK Gaming, hopefully enough to provide you with enough points to keep you guys happy, which is why I think they had the second safest schedule. Now, for third, it was a tie. I put H2K Gaming and Giants Gaming together. Now, it's kind of difficult because there's two reasons here. Both H2K and Giants are going against Elements this week, and both Giants and H2K are going against an 0-2 team. Now, the difference here is that Giants actually lost both games they played against SK last split, as opposed to H2K against Gambit, where they split. They went even. So I would put H2K maybe slightly above a Giant player. So if you have a Giants player and an H2K player, I would put the H2K player in over the Giants player. But you could deal with it however way you want. You could say SK Gaming had forgiven when they beat them last split. This isn't going to happen again, in which case they're pretty much even. And then the choice is yours, as it is always your choice. So moving on, because this video is getting really long. I'll move my pen here. What the hell was that? Okay, so the top three worst teams you probably shouldn't start just based on their schedules and the fact that they're not doing well. You probably know who I'm going to mention already. SK Gaming got a really tough match against Origin Gaming, and they're also going to be going against Giants, pretty middle of the road team, but I do think they had a solid performance last week. I don't see that stopping. So that one's kind of a wash, but just going against Origin, they're probably going to get destroyed in my opinion. So I really wouldn't recommend starting SK Gaming. The second worst team is going to be Gambit Gaming. Again, H2K is kind of a middle of the road team, but I do think they're going to provide enough of a fight where Gambit's not going to score a lot. And Gambit is also going to be going against Fnatic, which I assume Fnatic is going to wreck them entirely. So that goes without, that's just my opinion based on the numbers I've looked at. But you're entitled to do whatever you want with your fantasy team. I'm just giving you what I think. The last worst team, not necessarily the worst team, but one that I don't think has a good enough schedule to help you guys with your fantasy endeavors, are Rocket. Now, Rocket's going to be going against Fnatic, who are probably easily one of the best, if not the best, EU team. So, right there, if you're going against Fnatic right now, I would probably put you not in the best list. And Rocket's also going to be going against Unicorns of Love. Now, I know they didn't have the best showing last week, but last split they went 1-1 against them, so they went even. And I just think that Unicorns of Love are a solid enough team that Gambit's not going to be able to yield enough. Rocket's not going to be able to yield enough points to make you guys happy in terms of point earning. And my last topic my last section basically is going to be the wildcard, which are the Copenhagen Wolves. Now, the Copenhagen Wolves are going to be going against pretty decently tough matches here. They're going to be going against the Unicorns of Love, who are a very solid team, so that's kind of take it or leave it. And there's also Origin, which is a really tough matchup. But I do think that they have a good enough team to provide you with points. Just to give you some proof here, Freeze was the highest earning ADC last week. He scored 63.38 points. Let me move this here so it doesn't look like I'm looking at weird stuff. Here's my list. It's probably too small for you to see. Anyway, so Young Buck was the highest scoring top laner. Airwalks was the second highest scoring jungler. Soren was the fourth highest scoring mid laner, and Unlimited was the third highest scoring support, as well as just the Copenhagen Wolves in general, where the team itself was the fifth highest scoring team in the EU scene. So that's why I think they might be able to replicate some similar numbers, not exactly those numbers. They might either surpass those numbers if they surprise us, or they might just, falter. But we'll see what happens. So this is the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think I could do to improve it. I'm not really good with computers in terms of like doing graphics and stuff and music or whatever. But I'm open to any comments, and I'll try my best to make the show way better next week when I have more time. I'm going to go way more in depth with the matchups. Like what I was going to do this week was like go over like how Froggen and Ryu have matched up against each other in the last split. I had all these numbers, but I wasn't able to do that for every team. But I will have that done for next week. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it helps you with your fantasy team. Let me know in the comments after this week is over how you did. Or just let me know in the next week's video. Do whatever you want, honestly. I also have a Twitter account now if you want to just hit me up and say, oh, I have these 2 players. Who should I start? If you just want a second opinion, I will give it to you. The Twitter handle, or whatever the hell you call it, is HyperFocusLOL. So just hit me up there if you want. And I really hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to do my best to make it better next week. And I'll see you on Saturday morning because I'll be posting my NA analysis. So see you later.